Hey everyone, I'm Will and welcome to another video. In this one we're heading out on the coast. We're going to be on the east coast of Australia and we'll be capturing a sunrise by the sea using the telephoto lens, a 100 to 400mm, which is not something you may typically think about using when you're on the beach. So I'll talk about the thought process when we're out in the field, composing the scene. We're going to be capturing some different subject matter out there, and then to finish up, stay tuned because we'll jump back here into Adobe Camera Raw and I'll run through some processing tips. Okay, let's do it.
So although I'm doing a seascape shoot, I've actually decided to get out the long lens, the 100 to 400. There's two things that's caught my eye. One, the amazing wave action coming in with that beautiful reflected light. Especially in the back there's multiple sets, which is good to zoom in and compress. I'm using a slow shutter speed for some of those frames. But also looking this direction towards Cathedral Rocks. You know, this is a place that I've been to, no joke, hundreds of times and photographed it and taught here so much over the last, almost 15 years. But I've spotted this perspective, a long lens perspective. That's all because I approached the scene with fresh eyes and no preconceived ideas, even though I've been here so much. You can also do some intentional camera movement. I know I've shown you that on the channel before, but that's quite fun to do. I'm going to sit at half a second here, starting on the right, pan along and then shoot, and we get a pretty fun result. Often I'll do sand, water and sky, but you can also just do water and sky. You can also do water by itself. When I'm getting these layers in the background, I'm putting myself in a very subtle angle to the waves, not so much being front on, just a very slight angle, and that way you see the texture and form of the wave. It's really fun just using different shutter speeds and getting some different directions on the water itself. It's a bit of an offshore breeze at the moment, which is working well for us because it's flicking the water into the sky, and the light is now catching some of that spray, giving some golden highlights to the frame. Had to go to ISO 50 f29. And 0.4 seconds I'm finding is a really nice speed for the texture. In seascape photography, your shutter speed determines everything when it comes to the water texture. Now, there's no right or wrong when it comes to selecting the shutter speed and how the water texture will be. It's obviously subjective, but I've always liked the water relatively smooth and soft, but with textures in it, strands. And those speeds are generally no longer than 1 second, most often 1/4, 1/5, somewhere in that range. Epic sand patterns now with reflected light shooting downwards before they disappear. They don't last long, I tell you. So when I'm capturing those sand patterns down there, I have to speed the shutter up to make sure I'm tack sharp. Still need a high f-stop because there's a lot of depth of field when you're shooting on an angle, especially for telephoto lens. So for those few, I just did f18, 125 over a second, and I just put the ISO up to 640. I'm going to check out this long lens perspective now of our sea stacks because the sun is up, it's hitting the rocks, and we're starting to get a lot more depth and separation there. You just got to have fun with photography, and I'm still having so much fun here, approaching it differently with the long lens for a change and having a really good time. All right, just trying to see some different compositions that might work with the telly. Now I have got one telephoto shot from here which I created last year when I was over here running some workshops. We had a full moonrise behind the stack, and similar concept, getting down low and getting the layers to build up the frame, create some depth, so it's not just a simple flat shot. Similar concept here this morning. The key to a frame like this is to get some stones in the midground, in the foreground, then the stack in the back, and that will really just create a lot more three-dimensionality. It's tricky though, trying to find the right section where we can do that. When you're using a long lens in the landscape, you have to make big movements to completely change your composition because you're shooting things which are far off in the distance. with a wide angle you can just move left and right a few inches and make a massive difference to your comp. We've got these big boulders here which we might use. Now we're going to walk backwards. This is what I mean, you have to walk quite far back to make a difference. So fun just using the long lens for a seascape shoot for a change, not getting sucked into the obvious.
Alright guys, just a quick look at some of the raw files and the processing. I ended up keeping and adding to my portfolio on the website this frame, as well as the sand image here. Yeah, I just really love the offshore spray that we were getting, obviously with that backlight as well. And the sand patterns I just found really intriguing and interesting, and man, they were fleeting. They disappeared really quick. I'll show you the processing on something like this in a moment, but just running down to the telephoto frame, it was tricky because there was moments where I'd get waves in the back, but maybe not the most dynamic water in the foreground, and then you'd get something interesting in the foreground and not so much in the background. Overall, I think I'd like to try this again at some point with a better sky. Really had a sky that didn't have too much going on. There was some high cloud there, but overall I think it just created a bit too much of a negative space. And I think the foreground rocks would be interesting to return with more swell and actually get water running down these rocks. If you look at my frames, these rocks are probably a little too obstructive, I think, and distracting from the background. I did change the composition to this perspective, but in this regard I think there's just not enough going on. It would be nice to get separation and get the stack away from that background as well, but just with the different perspectives and getting the foreground, it wasn't really possible. So this was kind of the direction I was going in with that shoot, and yeah, I think there's potential there, but you know, when you've been doing photography as long as I have, there's no point forcing something and adding it to your website and portfolio and sharing it online if really it's not your best work. And I think it doesn't matter where you're at with your photography, you should try and have that same standard, aim for the best you can achieve. And even in this case, you know, like I said, I'll hopefully come back in the future and try get something a little bit better. I see the potential there for sure. Still don't mind that, but yeah, it's just these rocks. I'd love to get some water running down them. I think if that happened, it would have definitely pushed the image over the top. But that's insight anyway to the thought process on that image. And when it came to something like this in the processing, I'll open this one up. This is in Adobe Camera Raw, and I'll reset the edit, and that's what we're looking at. So, you know, nothing too dramatic. Essentially, I just cropped it down just so there's not too much sky, and that helps really bring the eye into this part of the frame where the action is. As usual, I generally use a landscape profile, and you can see what that does there for the color, and it really wasn't too much work. Sometimes in this case, because it is quite a bright exposure, I darken the exposure down and then I introduce the light where I want it to be, and I just push K to get an adjustment brush. If you're not familiar with my processing, just check out the rest of the channel. You'll see some videos there. I've even got tutorials, longer tutorials, which you can purchase. There's links all over the place for that. But this is all I use is the brush. So you can see here that it would allow me to really emphasize that spray, bring the whites up even, would do a good job there. And then potentially, I'll push K for a new brush. I would increase the contrast for this lower portion. That will drop the darks down, but keeps the brights bright, just like that. And again, that is helping just push the eye back here. I'd even maybe very gently just darken the upper part of the sky. And I zoom out for that so I can use the edge of the brush, which is quite gentle. And then where the light is, one last brush, I'll push K one last time. We could bring up some exposure and rehaze slightly, which is a reduction in contrast there. Something like that. Go back to full screen, and even a little bit of color grading would work wonders too, potentially just warming the highlights further. And then the midtones, we could either cool them or warm them, depending on what we want to achieve. I'd potentially look at going slightly warmer with that, just to work on that spray coming off the waves. And then you could cool the shadows, which will bring out the blue in the water. Something like that. It gives you a rough idea anyway. An image like these, they're so fun to work with because they're just a simple palette with texture. You're not working with, in this, down here we've got shadows and highlights, cool and warm. We've got lots going on, lots of depth. These frames are just so simple and really enjoyable to work on. These images, for example, let's have a look then. I have done a quick edit, but if we reset that, you can see how flat it is. So it was a matter of straightening up, cropping it down slightly, a landscape profile, then I'd start to recover the dynamic range. So highlights would come down a little, shadows come up a touch, and then to really bring back that color, I'd have to increase the vibrance into the grading and start to locally work on shadows and highlights. So warming the highlights, slightly cooling the shadows down, and then to help, really bring the eye to that background, I'd have to brighten up back here with the brush. And then the opposite in the foreground, contrast, a little darker. And you're just trying to build this out. Now the sky, you'd also just gently darken down as well. And all of this just coming together to help push the eye to this centralized zone. Would even brighten in there a little with the brush. Now I know I'm moving quick with the brush. As I've said, I've got many lessons on the channel and longer tutorials where you get the raw files and everything, so just feel free to check those out or drop a question below and I'll help you guys out. But that gives you an idea anyway. And if you're enjoying the video, please consider commenting, thumbs up, subscribing. The whole point of doing that, it just helps the algorithm know that this video may have some value. And if you're commenting and thumbs up and subscribing, it just then lets the algorithm will share the video to other people, and hopefully they can enjoy it as well. So that gives you an idea on the processing on that one. I know that was quite fast, but it's all about just recovering the dynamic range. Really fun. Next time you're out shooting, think outside the box. I like to bring all the lenses anyway, wide, mid-range, tele, but don't just go for the obvious. Think about what else could be possible and challenge yourself with your photography, and you might be surprised at what you can achieve. Thanks for viewing, and hopefully I'll see you in another video soon.